to item 173, pass and retain. We're moving to item 174, SB 1172. Madam Clerk, please read.
Senate Bill 1172 by Senator Beall and others, enacting into high-speed rail.
Assemblymember Arambula.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. SB 1172 is a common-sense measure that puts high-speed rail authority on par with other agencies charged with constructing major infrastructure projects. Similar to Caltrans and the Department of Water Resources and the UC system, this bill affords the authority with the same right-of-way acquisition tools that remove duplicative requirements and streamline other processes that ultimately will save our state both time and money. Members, the facts are very straightforward. Fact: this project is off the ground and is the largest infrastructure project to ever be constructed in the Central Valley. Fact: this project has created over 2,000 well-paying construction jobs, has over 450 small business, is working on this project, and has provided $2 billion in economic activity in the Central Valley and $6 billion statewide. Fact: the provisions in this bill will save the state money, reduce delays in acquiring right-of-way, and will create more jobs. Let me be clear. This bill does not remove any oversight functions or provide the high-speed rail authority that goes beyond what is provided for other similarly situated state agencies. This bill simply provides a more streamlined property acquisition process that is consistent with the authority provided to other state agencies. Members, this is the type of legislation that we should be passing. A bill that removes duplicative bureaucratic processes, a bill that continues to hold the authority accountable to the public, and a bill that puts people back to work. Members, this bill is supported by Labor and has no oppositions, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Assemblymember Frazier, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. As a member of the State Public Works Board, I see the process when we have our meetings going forward. It's an onerous process that the acquisition of land on right-of-way is going. It is absolutely like slogging through the mud. This will be an essential component that will save millions of dollars going forward in efficiencies, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Assemblymember Melendez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall remind you of the many articles that have been written about the high-speed rail and the cost overruns and the fact that we haven't actually seen anything done yet. This is a non-existent train. It probably will never exist in our lifetime, although the cost is going to continue to rise. Less oversight for this project doesn't make it better. It actually makes it worse. If this were put back before the voters today, I would almost bet that voters would reject it. They would say, you're not able to complete this project. It's not going to cost what you said it was going to cost. It's out of control. Don't put any more money into it. And certainly, any money you do have in it, keep an eye on it. This eliminates protections for landowners. It does eliminate key oversight, which is incredibly important with a project that cost billions of dollars. In what other project, what other department do we turn a blind eye to how money is being spent? We just say, you know what, you've got it, go ahead, we trust you. Have you read the reports? And by the way, there's an audit pending. Wouldn't you like to see the results of the audit before you go putting more money and less oversight into this project? Wouldn't that make sense? Isn't that financially responsible? And the maturity that should be exercised when voting on projects like this? I urge a no vote.
Thank you. Assemblymember Harper, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members. High-speed rail in this state has been nothing but a billion-dollar boondoggle. The original cost of the high-speed rail system between San Francisco and Los Angeles was $34 billion. Today, that cost has ballooned up to $98 billion, and it will not be completed under its projections until 2033, according to some estimates. Taxpayers deserve to know why the price of high-speed rail has increased so much. But this bill would do the opposite and restrict the oversight of this monstrosity of a project. The state has an audit scheduled, and I agree with my colleague from from Lake Elsinore, that this state has scheduled an audit scheduled to be released in October, which will evaluate cost overruns of the High-Speed Rail Authority. We should wait until the audit is complete before we decide to cut this project loose and make this an even bigger monstrosity than it already is, with even less oversight. I respectfully ask for a no vote on this bill.
Thank you. Assemblymember Baker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I won't reiterate the good points that have been made by our colleague from Lake Elsinore and Huntington Beach, but I do want to say I too have been to hearings on high-speed rail. I've been to where there's been much of this information discussed, and two particular points come out that underscore why we should not be removing the approval process. We should not be streamlining. We should be making sure we have as much oversight as possible. Number one, this last spring, the new CEO of the High-Speed Rail Authority, Mr. Brian Kelly himself, for whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He does a very good job. Madam Chair, can we, or Madam Speaker, can we have order in the chamber, please?
Please give your respects to the Speaker.
Brian Kelly was very frank with the Transportation Committee and just said, there is no plan for completing this project. There's no plan for appropriately funding the project. It's sort of a, we're going to keep going and just hope that something good happens. And I appreciated that candor, but it should be frightening that what we might be proposing is to take away oversight and take away approval protections. The second point that came forward in these very hearings on high-speed rail is that it will not be high speed. The Independent Oversight Authority actually said there is no way for this project, as it is currently going forward, to ever get near the 2 hours and I think 40 minutes of connecting the major destinations that was sold to our constituents. And I just add a third point. The independent state auditor, Elaine Howell, just came out with a report. It was actually on a different major transportation project, the seismic retrofit of the Bay Bridge. And her number one recommendation was to make sure there are risk management controls and review. The number one thing she said we have to do is we need more risk management. We need more oversight, not less. And so I know we have a great disagreement about whether or not this project should go forward. I very much respect for our colleague who is carrying this that it has a significant economic impact in his area. I do think anytime you build something big in an area, you're for a while going to have an economic impact. But the overall messages that we are getting from every indication, the CEO of High-Speed Rail, the chair of the Independent Authority, and the independent nonpartisan state auditor all say this is not the way to go. We need more oversight, not less. I respectfully ask for your no vote.
Thank you. Assemblymember Patterson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I'm not going to reiterate the comments, but just want to suggest something here, that this bill doesn't help or fix or in any way solve or identify the kinds of problems that this project is facing. We have been promised a lot in Central California, and what do we have? We essentially have a rump railroad that will go from just outside Madera to just outside Bakersfield. There is no money and no plan to connect the three disparate pieces of this. We are spending a lot of money in the Bay Area, a lot of money in Central California, and a lot of money, some money in Southern California. And by the admission of the business plan of this very operation, they have admitted they do not have the money and they don't know how they're going to connect this multi-billion-dollar project. Promise is one thing, performance is something else. We have been promised one thing, we are being given something entirely different. Central California is getting chewed up by the construction in these high concentrated construction projects does that. The question has to be what is left after we rip up thousands of acres of prime ag, after we rip up neighborhoods throughout the state of California. Yes, there are some jobs. Yes, there is some money. But what is most important is what do we have left after we expend literally billions and billions of dollars. 2 audits are coming. 2 audits. 1 audit from the state of California, and the feds are going to audit as well. That is coming. Members, I can appreciate the effort and the attention on this bill. It doesn't solve anything. Your attention and your focus better be on holding the high-speed rail accountable for completing the multi-billion-dollar project and not leaving us with a rump railroad. And until somebody can show me the printing press in the basement of this building that will spew out the billions of dollars necessary to complete it, what the people of Central California are left with is a uncompleted multi-billion-dollar upgrade to Amtrak. That's not good enough. I urge a no vote, but I also urge your energy to be steered away from excuse-making and cover-up toward making the high-speed rail people accountable for delivery of what they promised. And if they can't, then take it back to the people of California and say, we messed it up, we can't get it done. Here's what we can do, here's how much it's going to cost, will you give us permission to do it again? But I doubt that that idea would see the light of day. Members, your oversight is necessary, your caution is absolutely appropriate. It is time to be tougher on high-speed rail, not easier.
Thank you. Assemblymember Mathis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, not to overly echo the remarks of one of my colleagues from Fresno. Look, we need jobs. We need to increase the economy. We need to do smart things. But we don't need to pull away from oversight. As a body, all I've heard this last little bit of session is removal of oversight. That's one of our primary jobs as legislatures, is oversight, is these audits, to get these things done. We've blocked an audit at DMV, now we're going to pull oversight from the high-speed rail, even though the folks behind high-speed rail have already told us they've screwed it up and don't have the money. I sit on the Transportation Committee. I've been in those hearings. I've been in the closed-door hearings. This project does not add up to what our voters voted on. Now, where I come from, we got a real simple saying, dams not trains, but you'd be a damn fool to vote on this. I ask for a no vote.
Thank you. I see no further discussion nor debate. I'm going to return to Assemblymember Arambula for his close.
Thank you very much, members. While it's no surprise that there are some people in this assembly who are not big proponents of this project must continue to build momentum. And for us to build that momentum, we have to figure out how to help to streamline this process. And to my colleagues across the aisle, I want to say that this does not remove oversight. This removes bureaucracy. Are you in favor of more bureaucracy or less? I would ask that we help to streamline this project because time is money and we have to help figure out how to make this more efficient. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Madam Clerk, you may close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 41, no 24. That measure passes. We move now to item 175. I'm sorry, we're going to move back in file order